Welcome all to another episode of the C64 Roundup, your concise guide to the latest news and releases for your Commodore 64. I wasn't expecting to do a November roundup, but luckily there's been a bit of activity of late, so let's kick things off with my game of the month. Pentagorat 2 is the Commodore 64 revamp of the original Pentagorat released on the VIC-20 about 8 years ago. You play the role of a prisoner who is woken up in a cell within Pentagorat Castle. You don't know how you got there, but you know that you need to find a way out. The game controls are simple. Pressing the joystick button to jump, while pushing against an object will initiate a search. Let me put it out there straight away. This lovely looking and great sounding isometric adventure game is super hard, as you have to stretch your mind to obtuse ways in order to solve some of the puzzle challenges within the game. From the beginning, you learn that you need to be curious about everything and try all sorts of things. How do you get out of this cell? Well, of course, there's a hidden switch here. As you explore the castle layout, you'll find many obstacles to overcome that will require you to look for switches and pick up items that grant you additional abilities. Some way forwards are not always in view, while others can be obtained by typing in certain actions. And the game's narrations will provide cryptic clues as to what you need to do next. As much as I like to lament when a game's difficulty is ridiculous, with Pentagorat 2, it is key to making it such an engaging game. Every crazy puzzle you solve feels highly gratifying, propelling you to continue on and try again. Pentagorat 2 treads that fine line between absorbing and frustrating gameplay. The game is available as a free digital version, but for you collectors out there, you can head on over to The Future Was 8-Bit to secure a physical cassette release for less than £5 British. That is some great value there. Pixel Memories continue to create great peripherals for the Commodore 64 with the launch of their track and field controller. There is no stick in sight with this device, as this controller simply contains left and right run buttons with a jump button in the middle. The controller consists of three 30mm high performance low profile buttons which have no audible click and are springy and super responsive. It's all about bashing those buttons to propel you forward in games such as Track and Field, Decathlon, and Hypersports. Yep, even works great with skeet shooting in Hypersports. But as the run buttons are simply mapped to the left and right joystick directions, the controller will work fine with single button games and two-way horizontal arcade games such as Galaga and Galencia. The shell, bottom cover and graphic background colours can be customised to your liking for that bespoke look. This is another great controller by Pixel Memories which can be ordered from their Ko-fi page. Time to check out some other new game releases. Cosmic Combat DX is a minor enhancement release to the original version of the game, but I think there's enough quality to this little shooter to warrant its coverage. Your mission is to fly into the deep void of infinite space and fight your way against fleets of assorted alien invaders. Each alien has its own behaviour patterns, and the game contains bonus stages and an alien boss wave. Cosmic Combat DX is no doubt one of the top 3 games to be built off the shoot 'em up construction engine. There is no sign of the infamous slowdown syndrome exhibited in just about anything built using the platform, as the blasting action on offer is fluid and moves at a good pace. Production wise, things look quite good, and I really enjoy the nostalgic tones that the sound effects give off during the gameplay. All in all, the game provides a solid play experience, but I do wish there was a bit more variety within the enemy waves, and that the game was longer before it starts to loop again. Cosmic Combat DX is available as a free digital download, but unfortunately this one is not NTSC compatible. In Tank in a Dungeon, you take control of a tank as you navigate your way through a 16-level dungeon filled with alien robots in an attempt to rescue stranded researchers. Every second level is randomly generated, and ammo is limited, but can be replenished at set locations. Additional armour can also be collected to protect you from one-hit kills. Initial impressions were not great with Tank in a Dungeon, but behind its somewhat basic production values hides a strategic arcade game that throws a good and fair challenge. Topping up ammo and finding additional armour is an essential part of the game, otherwise you'll find yourself stuck on some levels and having to restart from the beginning. The control mechanism is somewhat overly sensitive, making tank control more difficult than it needs to be, and prevents a truly free-flowing arcade experience. Tank in a Dungeon is available as a free digital download. Tiburonsi will immediately draw you in with its attractive cartoon-style graphics and initially keep you engaged with a great in-game synth soundtrack. However, it doesn't take more than a minute to realise that this is simply a dumbed-down variant of the Flappy Bird genre that is not much fun to play. Jumping on top of most enemies will eliminate them, giving you extra points. The eagle enemy is eliminated by touching it from below. As you approach the end of a level, you'll need to collect a key or trigger a lever to rescue your friends. There are 5 levels in total. Tiburonsi is available as a free digital download, but is only PAL compatible. In 00 Parts, you play the role of a musician who's been taken captive, and you need to find your way out by locating the Amulet of the Depths. I'm sure this backstory is meaningful to someone out there. Anyway, back to the game. Some levels require you to collect the musical items so that you can get into a power-up state that allow you to eliminate all enemies, which then reveals the key to the exit, while other levels simply require you to avoid enemies and escape the screen. There are 31 levels in total. 00 Parts has the potential to be quite an engaging game, but its difficulty setting just spoils any potential fun that can be had. I like the idea of having limited time when a power-up is collected to kill an enemy, as you have to time everything correctly, but the time you have to do this will often be quite short, or if you miss-time a jump, you miss out on the opportunity to do so, leaving you with no option but to lose a life in order to retry, as there is only one power-up per level, and they don't respawn. 00 Parts is available to purchase as a digital download, but the game is not NTSC compatible. Mushrooms That Grow in the Woods is an arcade-style collecting game where your objective is to gather all of the mushrooms on each single screen level while avoiding traps and guardians. In addition to collecting mushrooms, you will need to obtain keys to pass through the locked areas, and arrows can be secured and used against many of the nasty creatures chasing you. There are 32 levels on offer, and once you've completed these, you can elect to play randomised levels for a bit of replayability. Ignore the developer's misleading reference to this being a Pac-Man clone. This game offers far more than initially meets the eye. Mushrooms That Grow in the Woods provides an absorbing mix of logic arcade gameplay with tons of progressive elements as you advance through the levels. In addition to your standard collect the keys to unlock the areas and arrows to shoot enemies, Mushroom That Grows in the Woods will require you to think ahead as you look to guide enemies into bombs and consider the appropriate times to use teleportation portals. Mushrooms That Grow in the Woods is full of nostalgic charm and simple but deep arcade play that is sure to provide today's C64 gamer with a fulfilling gaming experience. Mushrooms is available as a free digital download, but it's optimised to run on PAL machines. Muck Baron is a flick-screen run-and-gun style of game which sees you take control of a giant robot in an attempt to stop Dr. Rellestein from dominating the world with his own empire of dangerous robots. You have 3 lives and a power bar at your disposal as you navigate each screen with the aim of getting to the other side by sustaining the least amount of damage possible. The game contains 3 levels plus a final boss battle. Mark Barron's bright and vibrant graphical style is attractive, and there's a good amount of variation with the screens, enticing you to try and see more with each time you play. Mark Barron's gameplay is a pretty basic jump, run and shoot affair. Difficulty setting is set to slightly high, as you don't have much time to learn the enemy patterns and you're constantly on the move, with the jump controls being sluggish, making diagonal leaps trickier than they need to be. I found the game to be a little on the short side once I completed it, but it did keep me engaged for a little while, and I sense this one will be a favourite for many of you out there. Mark Barron is available as a free digital download. And that is a wrap on another C64 Roundup. There are more games that I would have covered in this video, but I'm going to leave them for the next episode. Most games featured in the Roundup are reviewed in greater depth on the IGN website, so if you really want to see how each game stacks up against each other, then make sure you bookmark RetroGamerNation.com for all the latest game reviews. And I'll see you in December for the last C64 Roundup for 2024 and possibly beyond. Until next time, bye for now.